Hey gang, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to our channel, please consider smashing that like button and subscribing if you're enjoying the content. Make sure you go back, check out some of our previous videos. Today's project, we're going to be continuing our work on that microwave cabinet that we have to convert from a 3-drawer cabinet to a microwave drawer cabinet. So we have the saw stop set up. We've already made our rip cut on the fest tool to length, and now we're going to cross cut it to width. I think we're all ready to go, huh, Jordan?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. All right, so that's the base for our microwave drawer. And to save ourselves some time, we're going to make some spacers. So let's cut those real quick, and then we're going to take you inside and show you what those are for. All right, let's go put this thing in. So our microwave drawer is going to go right here. We lucked out on the height, and this is okay. So I got a scrap piece of plywood and put it on the base of the cabinet, and I measured to the top of this rail, so I'm 10 3/4. And then we rip these at 10 3/4 on the saw stop, and they're going to act as spacers. I'm going to drop this in from the top, and they're going to sit on those spacers. The shelf's going to sit on those spacers and position it perfectly. Yeah, push that back. There we go.
Sweet.
Perfect. And then we'll screw it in from the sides, attach it at the front, and then remove those spacers. Let's get it done. Have our plywood shelf in, so I'm 17 3/8 from the top of the shelf to the top of my cabinet. It's 3/4 inch plywood, and I want to put a screw in the middle. So I'm going to just set my finger at 17 3/4, pencil on the other end, and drag it just like you're cutting drywall, or you can use this trick many different ways. All right, so we got this in, it's nice and strong. We screwed it from the sides, and we put a clip under here where my hand is. And that looks sweet, it looks factory.
Yep.
So our next step is we want to do two things. Remember we cut this rail off? We want to trim that a little closer if we can. And then we're going to cut a rectangle out of the back so we can plug the microwave into the wall right there. So let's do the hard part first. Let's do this.
Yep. Ooh, that's it right there. That's smooth. Woo, and there we go, guys. You can see the tenon from the mortise and tenon right there. It's nice and smooth. We're gonna hit that with a sander before we put our filler strips in, but we're actually gonna hold off on putting the filler strips in until we have the microwave in. That way we can just finish it all. And we're not leaving any stone unturned in that regard. We're probably also going to be installing the appliances around the same time. The refrigerator, which you can see is ready to go. And actually, if I take this level, you can see right here that it's coming straight down. You know, yep. That's perfect right there. Yep. And it all lines up. All that measuring paid off, which is great. So stay tuned for the appliance installation. We're really excited about that.
I was thinking that another advantage of not having this panel here is it's more magnet space on the side of your fridge.
That is true.
For pictures and all that kind of stuff.
Like a recipe maybe? Yep, Who knows? And if you
stud pack sticker.
If you follow me over here, you can see that we installed the upper cabinets. The glass stores came in. We installed those and it looks phenomenal. We love the way it looks. We also have the subtop. All the drawers are in and they're set. We installed the uppers off camera just because we didn't want to keep throwing cabinet installation videos at you guys. It's a pretty simple process, just a couple screws in the back with our blocking and our studs that we had marked prior. So that came out great and we love that. So now we're gonna come over here and we're gonna get started on the sink, right?
Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna hand it over to Dad and he's gonna run you guys through what we're gonna do on the sink.
All right, thanks, bud.
Yeah.
So I went round and round on how to fix this sink. The solution I came up with was to bring it to a glass company and have them enlarge this hole. But then I thought about it more. They'd probably have me sign something that says they're not liable if they break it. And they're going to use probably the same tool that I could buy for what they were going to charge me. So this is it. It's a rotary diamond burr. Now this is for a die grinder. Very high RPM, 20,000. I don't have one. I'm not going to buy one for just this job. So we're going to put it in this drill. And I kind of feel like speed and heat is our enemy on this. It does recommend that you use it with water to cool it. So we actually just put a 5-gallon bucket under here. And situation like this, just drill a hole in a water bottle and check this out. That's our coolant. So we were hoping to find a place to test this on. The owners aren't home, so why don't we go back and test it on one of their toilets?
Sounds good.
Hey guys, we're home.
Oh. All right. Well, let's just go for it, man. I think we're gonna be fine.
Full send?
Yep.
All right.
How's our water supply?
We're good.
All right.
All right, let's just see how it is.
Oh, it doesn't fit. Just kidding. Look at that, man.
Woo! Well, we actually didn't show this on video, but we took out your micrometer.
Dial calipers.
Or yeah.
Uh-huh. And we were 46 thousandths oversized.
Mm-hmm.
Less than a 16th of an inch. So we knew it wasn't much. But I'm pumped. I mean, I fretted over this for a while, and a $65 tool that I now own took care of it.
Right.
Came out beautifully. And you can really tell this is a well-made tool just by the way it cuts. So our next step, we are going to take the sink off, attach this spacer, and we have to mount this to the base. Then we're going to put the sink back on here, mount the disposal with the P-trap, and see if it lines up with our plumbing. That's what all this is for.
We got to get lucky.
Yeah, we do. And if we're not, we get to move some plumbing. Cast iron, no doubt. Maybe I get to buy another diamond tool.
Maybe.
All right, let's do it. All right, we have our spacer attached to the sink base. And remember that it's not flush here. And that's because we have this, I call it a skin. It's just plywood that's the same color as the cabinets. It's available from your cabinet supplier. And we're going to attach it right there. Nice and flush. We'll rip a piece to go across here. And we'll nail here and here. And we'll put a piece on each side. It'll look beautiful.
Custom fit?
Yep. But our next step is to temporarily hang the disposal. So we've already got our extended flange. We're going to drop it in there. Look at that. Look at that fit.
Woo!
Like it was custom made for it.
Hey.
It was custom made. So we're not going to permanently install this because this sink has another curve ball coming at you. And we know just what it is.
Just like the Astros.
Dude, really? So follow me under there and I'll show you what's going to happen here. All right, so we have our fiber washer, our mounting plate. It goes this way, not that way. See that? That's one thing in our disposal video I didn't mention. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Yeah, I'm real close, Jordan. They might work. All right, that curveball we thought was coming turned into a fastball, no problem. The factory hardware worked fine. We have another set right here. And what's happened before to us is these screws were too short for the extended flange. So I thought, no problem. I'll just go to the hardware store and buy a 5/16 18 bolt like that. And the ones I got were threaded all the way. But even that didn't work because this head interfered with the lower bracket on the disposal. So I had to order these. This is a cap screw head, and that's also from McMaster-Carr. And that worked great. See how much longer it is?
Yep.
So just be prepared if you're installing a farm sink, you might have to change these bolts.
Right. And so what would you search if you wanted those custom ones that you know work?
So that's a 5/16 -18. 18 is the thread count. There are 18 threads per inch by 1 3/4. And this is a cap head screw. I think if you, in a pinch, if you couldn't get this, you could get 5/16 threaded rod, cut it to length, and cut a slot in the end for a screwdriver and tighten it. In a pinch, that would get you that would get you going.
Cool.
Until you could get the proper bolts.
Yeah. So you just might run into that issue.
Yep.
Cool. Well, we're ready to go, huh?
Yep, let's hang this thing. All right, come back here, Jordan. So here's our original cast iron drain. The center of this is 17 1/4 inches above the slab. So let's come over here and see what we got.
We can bend it down a little bit or up, right? Like it's there's a little play.
It's going to want to slow down just because of the drain. 1/8 of an inch.
And it's sloping down.
It is. Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm bottomed out right here. So what I mean by that, there's some adjustability here.
Right.
But I'm all the way in.
So we could have gone down if it was 17 or less.
I can go down a little bit. Now I've worked on the plumbing and they've got it like right there, you know. That's no good.
Right.
You need to be in there a little bit. But I'm kind of happy right now because see all this right here?
Yeah.
We can actually cut this and even bring that a little higher.
Okay.
So I say we're good.
Sweet. The sink decided to give us a break.
Finally. So all we have to do is lower the hot and the cold water. You see there right here.
Right.
All right, guys, we are so stoked that we don't have to lower this drain. That would have been a real pain. The last farm sink we did, this was about 4 inches too high. Unfortunately, it was all ABS. It wasn't that bad, but this one would have been a bear. So now all we have to do is move the hot and the cold a little bit lower. And we're going to make a list of supplies and do that tomorrow. So we'll see you then. Hey, gang, it's the next day. We're out here at the water meter because we have to shut off the water to the house, obviously, before we move the copper water lines inside. I'm sure this house has a separate shutoff somewhere, but it must be buried underground. So we're just using the meter to turn the water off. So let's go down here and take a look. So here's the shutoff back here. It's just this, where we live, and everywhere I've ever been, really, this is just a 1/4 turn ball valve. See the little triangle? We're gonna show you 2 little tips. Now, there's actually another water meter right here. I've been to places where there's 4 water meters in a cluster, and we didn't know which one to turn off for our property. So watch this. See that? So we can confirm that that is our meter. Now, that little triangle can tell you something else. Watch this. I'm gonna open this up as little as I can. Like that. Now watch that triangle. See it moving? But that's a good way to see if you have a leak somewhere in your house. Sometimes that's a blue star. Where we are, it's always a red triangle. And we'll put this back so if a neighbor's walking by, they don't break their ankle.
Right.
So let's head inside and get those water lines moved. We only need to move these down a little bit to clear this. I didn't want to cut this frame. I can easily move those down, and we're going to change this up anyway. So I know I'm going to be in between here, and it's always easier to clean the pipe before you cut it. So I'm just going to clean it with some emery cloth. So now I already know that I want to make a cut at 19 inches above the floor. And I just use a Sharpie because I can see it really well. 19 and 19. Now this copper right here comes in a roll, and it's soft copper. So see how I'm kind of hitting the soil stack here? This is a soil stack. I can just move that out of the way. Now you can see the cold side drain down. But see the water here in the hot side, so we have to deal with that. We can't solder with that water there. So I'm going to save these air chambers. That's to prevent water hammers. I'm just going to put them back. And this little flip out tool right here, that's to deburr the inside. All right, our cold side, the water drained down, but we can see the hot water in here doing like this. So let's take the wet vac in the bathroom and we're going to show you how we're going to get rid of this water. We have our vacuum set up as a wet vac now. We took the bag out. I'm just going to put this on the spout. This actually fits pretty nicely. These are already open. So now if we turn the vacuum on, it should suck a little bit of water out of the system. So let's try it, Jordan. See that? So we got a little bit of water out. Let's go see if that's enough.
All right.
All right, I think we got it.
Looks good.
Yep. It doesn't work all the time, but it's a great trick. I would never put air pressure in there to try to blow it out. I just would never pressurize a water system with air. Bad things can happen. All right, let's clean this up and get it soldered. All right, we have our air chambers cleaned. I'm going to put some flux on this last T. Put some on here. Okay, we're almost ready. I'm just going to make 2 stub outs. Hey gang, we're ready to solder. This is a damp rag and it's tied around this brass fitting that is for the hose bib on the outside wall right here. But I want that to draw the heat out of here. I don't want the heat I'm applying here to soften that solder at all. And then I also put my little heat shield in place just to protect the wood. And you can buy these commercially. They're not metal, but they're more like a flame-proof material. So let's get this one soldered. Wow, pretty quick. See the bottom for last. It should be nice and hot now. And it is. All right, just wanted to cap the top, but that's the cold side. Let's clean this up and do the hot side. Looks good?
Yeah.
So this is called a hold right clamp. One of my pet peeves is plumbing lines that aren't secure, so we just put that on real quick. And that'll make it much stiffer. That's much better already. And we'll put a block over here to secure this side. All right, that's our last piece of drywall for this project. Woo! Pretty excited. We've been waiting a long time to fix this plumbing, but we couldn't do it until we got the sink all fixed up. So we'll let this dry overnight. We'll prime this tomorrow. We'll install these cabinets and the subtops, and we'll be ready for counters. So we'll see you tomorrow. Hey gang, it's the next day. I got in here this morning. I put a coat of hot mud on the drywall, and I also sealed around here my cold and my hot and my drain. So it's nice and sealed, so no ants or anything can get through there.
Looks good.
Yep. And then I also put a T on the hot side. And I've got one angle stop. This is an angle stop. 1/2 inch by 3/8 compression. I've got one pointed up for the hot side of the faucet, one pointed down for the dishwasher. I like having separate valves. Those dual outlet valves drive me crazy. You could also do that on the cold side if you had a refrigerator that needed ice, water for the ice maker, or if you had a water filtration system under your sink, you could do that on the cold side. And I really didn't have room for a cold if I had one, but you could just put them vertically. And they also make a straight stop where the hose comes out this way. And I just use a 15/16 and a 13/16 wrench to tighten those. No slippage, works great. Got all our electrical done, so we don't have to crawl in that cabinet to do anything. We've got our line here where the top of the farm sink base goes. And I think we're ready, right?
Yep.
All right, so we have 3 more cabinets to install, so let's get it done. All right, guys, we have our last 3 cabinets installed. Let's go over here and we'll walk you through what we did. Beginning right here, we put in this splice plate so we can join our 2 subtops together right here. We set our farm sink in place. Now we had to put this, I'll call it a ledger, on the back wall to support our subtop, because we need strength here because our stone's going to go across there. We also put this piece on the sink base just with some pocket screws. That does 2 things for us. It's going to support our subtop right here. There's a dishwasher here, so we don't have a cabinet adjacent to it to support it like that side. So it's going to support the subtop, and it's going to give us a place to fasten our little trim piece here. Remember, we showed you before, we have a trim piece on the bottom. We're going to come right up the side with one and nail it into there. We also cut 2 24-inch spacers, and we just have a pocket screw into the back right there, just so it was kind of hands-free for us. 24 inches wide exactly to the face frame of this one, and that way I just had to hold this one on the line and Jordan could attach it. So I think we're ready for our subtop.
I think so too.
All right, let's do it.
Been waiting a long time for that.
Yep. All right, guys, subtops are done, counters are done. We are super excited. That was a big check box that we could put a check mark in. All that's left to do on the cabinets is crown, light rail, and this filler that we talked about. But other than that, we are ready. It's getting pretty dark in here though on these cloudy afternoons, so what do you say we put some lights in? I'm getting tired of this guy. It's pretty bright.
It is bright. And it's hot. I feel like a lizard.
All right, well, let's put our LED lights in next.
Okay.
We need our counters in to determine where those go anyway, so we're ready.
That is true.
And then that'll help us with our tile and everything else. We can work all night long. And be sure to smash that like button for us. Hit subscribe if you're not already one of our subscribers. Ring that notification bell. Leave us a comment, and we'll see you on the next one.